Hello, and welcome back to part 4 of this PNG project. In the previous parts, we've handled the internal types that are necessary for our crate in order to represent the PNG file type. Now, in this chapter, we're going to be handling the command line arguments, so we can run this as an utility from the terminal. As mentioned in the instructions here, we're going to be using the clap crate, which stands for Command Line Argument Parser, in order to help us get the arguments easily. We're also going to be using the derive feature of clap, so we don't have to write much code. Let's go back to the IDE. Open the terminal. Let's add the clap dependency. I think it's features. I think that should be good. Okay. Seems like it worked fine. Let's go back to the instructions and see what kind of commands we need to handle. We have these 4. As you can see, we have a variable number of arguments for each. Okay. Oh, and we have it spelled out here. Encode, decode, remove, and print. And we need to organize these as subcommands. In the instructions here, the author recommends that we do it in the args module. Let's visit the IDE again. Go to the args file. Let me just maximize this. And let's start typing out the commands. We're going to start by creating a commands enum. Let's say enum. We're just going to name it commands for now. Let's go back to the instructions. So the first one, encode, should have file path type message. This is optional. I think we're just going to skip it for now. The output file. So let's define an encode command with a path that should be a string, chunk type, also a string, and the encoded message. Okay. Decode and remove have the same arguments. And it was path and chunk type. Okay. And let's just rename this to remove. And we also had just print. And in order for clap to recognize this as a series of subcommands or subcommand variants, we're going to need to use a derive statement. And the derive should be called subcommand, which got automatically imported. Okay, now we have to define a main args struct, which will just contain a field referencing the enum, so it will contain one of the enum variants. Let's handle this. That would be struct, say args, which has a command field, which is just one of the subcommand variants. And again, we're going to need some annotations, which here should be, I think, command, subcommand, like this. And we also need some annotations for the struct. First, we need to derive parser. This will let clap automatically parse this struct. And we can also add the command annotations for metadata, such as command, author, version, about. Okay. I think that should be enough for now. Now, all we need to do is go back to the main file and just parse the args. I think that should be enough. Let's maximize this again. And let's say let args equals, I think args dot parse. That should be it. I think we need to import this. And now we can just handle the types of args with a match statement. Let's match. Let's just use a reference. Args. It doesn't see the command. Oh, okay. I think it's just because, the command field is not public. Let's just make it public. Okay. Let's go back to main. And this should be fine. So let's handle the first one. If we have encode, I think we have path, chunk type, and message, if I remember. That's good. And in this case, for now, I think we're just going to use some print statements as placeholders, because this chapter doesn't require us to handle these. Okay. Okay. Now decode. We have path. I think we need, let's import this as well. And chunk type. Let's just use println actually. Though, we don't need to, but whatever. Okay. These are statements. Oh, I also have to include the comma. Remove. No. We have path and chunk type. Let's import it again. Let's say print move. And we have the last one, which was print, I think. And we just had the path. import this as well. And I think the problem is now, let's end the match. We need to return an OK variant. Oh, an OK of nothing, as you can see here. Okay. Oh, and we haven't written the arm, the match arm for print. And that should be it. Actually, let's just modify one message. Okay, I want to see if the parsing works all right. Okay. And let's just say path chunk type and message. I'm just going to handle the first one for a quick test. Let's check if this is correct. Okay. We have an error. Oh, it says we're trying to use a trait object. I don't really remember doing that. Let's check the args file. Oh, here. Okay. I think we're using the sub command from the clap crate, when instead this should just be a reference to commands from here. I think this should be good. Let's check again. Okay, we have some unused warnings, but it compiled just fine. Let's try to run the command. Okay, it should be encode. Say some file as the path. This should be the chunk type code, and this should be the message. Oh, that's great. As you can see, it recognized the command, the proper subcommand we chose with each parameter. So it's looking good for now. I think this is actually about it for today, because we've handled everything from the instructions here. So chapter 4 just covers having the arguments in general and parsing them. But the actual logic is in chapter 5, which we're going to tackle in the next video. Well then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Take care.